Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is an Unstoppable podcast show, and I am Jennifer Hardy. Thank you so much for listening to us today. I am joined today by the beautiful Kate Bollanou. Have I said that right, Kate?
It is Bollanou, actually. It's a quite
Oh,
hard name.
it's beautiful. Where does it derive from?
It's Greek, actually.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I knew I was probably going to say it wrong. So, Kate, your mission is to help biracial women overcome gender and cultural stereotypes so that they can find the power within them to live their life on their own terms, which just sounds epic. It's brilliant.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's right in saying, isn't it? So
Yes.
Tell me, Kate, how do you do that? Do you have some sort of kind of coaching business, or explain to me how you are able to reach and to play out your mission?
Yes, of course. So I have launched my coaching business, and I'm focusing on women who have these stereotypes within them, and they're trying to get free from them. Usually what happens is we are conditioned from our childhood to behave in a certain way that might not serve us very well in our adulthood. So these women are generally aware of what is going on, what is holding them back, and they just want to find the way to be strong enough and confident to listen to their heart and follow their dreams. This is quite difficult sometimes because I have been through that myself, and it's quite intimidating when you feel that people will judge you or criticize you. So what actually you need to do is find the strength within you to overcome these stereotypes and forget about, what people will say.
That is so important, isn't it? I mean, I think so much, and for such a long time, we're always listening to what other people say, and that opinion then shapes sometimes the rest of our lives, which is so sad.
It's very, very sad because that ends, it makes you actually feel resentful.
Yeah.
You think about all the things that you could do or that you want to do, and because you actually think about the other people who might not even care about you, you end up living someone else's life.
It's such an important thing that you're bringing to the forefront, into the light. It's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit more. Let's dig a little bit deeper in your personal story. So what happened? Like, how did you begin on this part of your journey?
Well, it's quite complicated because there were several experiences that led me to this path. Just a bit of background on me. I was born and raised in Greece, and as you mentioned, I'm biracial, and my father was Greek and my mom is from the Philippines. So although I felt Greek, as a child, I was always being... people made me aware of my difference. As a child, you don't understand whether you are different or how you are different, and then you start growing up and people point that out to you. So of course this had all its difficulties and all its challenges, and what happened inside me was that I was actually confused, and me as a child trying to fit in meant that I was trying to change myself in order to be a bit more like the other people, more like the other children.
Yeah.
So growing up, I figured out that, there is an underlying issue, and I could see in both my personal and my professional life that this affected it, and negatively, not positively. I was being held back by other people's stereotypes or by my own self-limiting beliefs. Then I moved to England back in 2010, and I joined a shipping company where I was the only woman in the broking team. So I was a ship broker. I was the youngest and I was the only foreigner, unfortunately. So I felt that I felt that everything was against me, actually. So it was a bit difficult, to bridge that gap in the cultural difference that we had, and actually only my director could really understand where I was coming from. So at least he had my back.
That's good. At least, thank goodness,
yes,
someone that was supportive.
Indeed, indeed. Actually, I had someone to talk to, although ironically he was my director, but I appreciated that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
anyway, so something happened in my personal life. I was pregnant with my first daughter, and we had a loss in our family, so that was a big shock.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get really into it because it's quite hard. But it made me realize that, life is so precious and anything can happen any day.
Yeah, of course.
So
You must
and
try and enjoy
exactly,
every single second of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it hit me, and I thought, you know what? I'll forget about everyone else. I'll just think about what I need to do in order to be happy, in
Yeah.
order to go for my dreams. Because, as I said, you don't know what can happen tomorrow or, in a year's time. We take life for granted. We take health for granted. We take our loved ones for granted. And then something happens and the unexpected happens and it shocks you. It shakes your world.
Absolutely.
So, so then I decided to start digging deeper and find what I truly want. At the same time, I faced difficulties as a working mother because we're in England by ourselves. I mean, my husband and I, we don't have any family to help us with childcare. So both of us being employed, it was quite challenging. In case, for example, when my daughter got sick, I had to leave my work and pick her up. So that, of course, put extra pressure on me, my husband, and my employer, understandably, because I had to go no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was thinking, you know what, this is not working. I need to figure out how to balance it well. So fast forward a couple of years later, I was pregnant with my second daughter. So I said, okay, this is it. I need to make it happen.
So something has to change.
Yeah, something had to change. I couldn't go through the same situation with two children, so it would be double the pressure for all of us.
Yeah.
So I hired a coach, a business coach, and she helped me figure out the path and find what I was passionate about.
Yeah.
And I knew it was about women. I just didn't know how to achieve it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I came up with the idea of coaching focused on women to find their own voice so they can speak up. And yes, here I am now. So of course I did all my qualification and all of my studies, and I'm up and running.
Awesome, excellent. And helping women all over the world understand what self-acceptance is. And actually, I would love for you to kind of give me like a couple of sentences. If someone was to say, well, I don't really understand, like, what is self-acceptance? What do I need to do to accept myself? Is there any way that you can break it down just a little bit for us, just for anyone that's listening there today?
Yes, of course. So self-acceptance is actually about loving yourself and accepting yourself as you are. Yeah. All your bad things and your good things, because we all have our limits, but that doesn't mean that you can't overcome them. Also, you have to be kind and compassionate with yourself.
Absolutely.
It is so important not to be so strict with yourself as you are, with your actions or with your words, and to be forgiving of your past mistakes, but of course at the same time to learn from them.
Yeah.
So that's where you have to change your mindset, and I'm very supportive of growth mindset, which actually is about knowing your limits, but trying to overcome them and thinking, for example, okay, I'm not very good at this task, let's say. What can I do to make it better? Instead of saying, oh, you know what, I suck at this, I'm not good at it, and just let it go and give up.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you go around, do you think, beginning to even achieve that, beginning to achieve complete self-acceptance within yourself, no matter the way that you look, the way that you, obviously, like you said, have had failures in the past. Everyone's had them. So how can people start to do a little bit of work on themselves at this point, just at the beginning of their journey?
First of all, I think it's very important to take a first step to forgive and love yourself.
Yeah.
To, sit down with yourself and think why you did what you did, because we're very, very critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
So behind every action and every word, there is a reason. Maybe you know about it, or maybe it's an underlying issue. That's what you have to uncover. That there is something that drove you towards that direction. So what was that? And can you change it? Then if you can change it, find the way to do so.
Yeah.
So once you do that, so self-awareness is the first step. Then I think it's very important to practice gratitude. And that is not just about journaling, about what you have and what you're grateful for, but think about yourself, that you take so many things for granted. As we said, your health, life, your loved ones, your house. So think about how many people don't have what you have. Absolutely. Or don't have a family, or don't have their health, or that X amount of money in your bank account that you might think that's nothing and you're going towards bankruptcy. Actually, for someone, this is a lot of money.
You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So gratitude, I would say, would be the next step. And then a very, very important step to achieve self-acceptance is not to listen to your inner critic. That is so important. So
hard, and your inner critic is the harshest person that will ever speak to you.
It is the harshest person, and there's no reason to do that to yourself. There's honestly no reason. I have 2 tips on that. So when you catch yourself, in that negative mood, in that negative energy, and you understand that, someone's talking to me, not sounding crazy, but you start talking to yourself negatively.
Yeah.
Just get yourself out of that situation. And I don't only mean mentally, but physically. So let's say you're sitting in front of the telly, but your mind is lost. Think about all the things that you want to do, that you haven't achieved, and all these negative things. Get up and, I don't know, turn on the radio, read a book, go open the fridge and, have some water. It's, I don't know, some fruits or ice cream.
Yeah, something that get yourself out of wherever it is that you're having this kind of thing. Yeah, that's really. Do you know what? Although it's kind of, I've thought about that before. It's actually it's an amazing tip. It's so simple, but yet so effective.
It is because you might let yourself get caught up in the moment, and the time flies. You don't even realize that. I think that happens a lot when you're actually in social media and you're browsing. And again, this has happened to me, and that's how I know that this actually works. When I came to England back in 2010, I came for my postgraduate degree in shipping. This was a new field for me, and following my career in hospitality, I felt I was a failure. So I was in Facebook, and I was, checking what my friends were doing, and all of them, from a hotel I used to work, all of them were progressing to managerial positions. They were traveling the world. Their relationships were going better. And I was in a, small room in my university trying to understand what shipping is about. And I felt so bad about myself because I started comparing myself, and I could see that everyone was going forward, and I felt I was taking 2 steps backwards.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just, closed my computer and I just left the room. And that actually works. And
it absolutely does work.
And then my second tip on that with the inner critic is think about the things that you tell yourself. And then, would you say those things to your child?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not.
No.
So yes, those hard words that you tell yourself, that they're so negative, would you say that to a person that you love so much? And usually, if you think about your child, you can barely say anything bad.
Oh, you would never talk to anyone
exactly
to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So just think, if you wouldn't say that to your own child, don't say that to yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, no one will. You have to do that to yourself first. You have to accept yourself and love yourself so you can feel happy.
Absolutely. And like you said before, in the middle of what we were discussing, life is too short not to be happy, or at least working on your happiness.
Exactly. I think it's a constant, it's a daily work, trying to, work on yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Kate, you're just amazing. Every time I speak to you, you just light me up. You've got this beautiful energy around you. So tell me, Kate, where can people find you? Again, people have been listening to this today and they're like, oh, do you know what? I need to stop being so hard on myself. I need to accept maybe things that have been on in the past that have, maybe socially everyone says, oh, it's terrible, it's really bad. Actually, half the things that we do are not that terrible and they're not that bad. It's just the way that we begin to speak about it in our heads, and we beat ourselves up so badly. So if someone's out there and they're listening and they're like, yeah, I could really do with speaking over this with someone, where can people find you, Kate?
So they can find me on my website, which is katebollanou.com. And I am also in social media. So I'm very active on LinkedIn, where I share quite often articles about and posts about leadership, either personal or professional. And that is Katerina Keskini Bollanou. That's my full Greek name. It's hard. And that's my Facebook page as well. So Facebook and LinkedIn is Katerina Keskini Bollanou. And then on my Instagram, it's a bit more simple, which is Kate Bollanou Coaching.
Fantastic, excellent. And I know, Kate, that you actually offer people a short time with you to get to know you a little bit before they would maybe look at your services. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So I offer a complimentary 30-minute session, which is a discovery call, and where we can discuss about what's going on in your life and how we can help you, because sometimes it might not be a good fit, or it might not be a good timing. So on that 30 minutes, during those 30 minutes call, we can discuss whatever is troubling you.
Wonderful, excellent. Kate, it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you a little bit more, and for all of our listeners out there as well, I'm sure you have picked up some great tips. And this life is very, very precious, and we have a short amount of time here. And not only do we want to make some sort of impact and help other women and men, become happier and healthier in themselves, but also we need to be that for our own personal selves as well.
Yes,
we need to work on ourselves before we can be in a position to do that for anyone else.
Definitely.
So, Kate, thank you. You've opened up my eyes as well, and just reminded me that happiness is where it's at, 1,000,000%.
Yes, definitely.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone listening out there today, I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being a part of this unstoppable, let's say, mission, this force, this movement that's going on at the moment, where I'm able to get these incredible women to come and actually share some of their insights and secrets and tips and hints with you. If you want to know more about Kate, she's obviously told you where you can find her, but you can also click the links below and that will take you straight to her pages. If you want to find out more about Unstoppable and what we're doing here, then of course there's more links below Kate, and you can click on them and find out about what we do here. Thank you so much for listening and being part of this. Take care, and I will speak to you real soon.